Anyhow, this is Fraser Sypher.
Yeah.
And he used to do a lot of motorbiking many years ago. A few years back, he stopped motorcycling. What was your age when you stopped motorcycling?
When I stopped?
Stopped, yeah. What was it?
I only stopped about 5 years ago.
Okay, and what age was that at that time?
Well, I was born January 4th, 1932.
Okay.
So I was 30 years old when I sold my motorcycle. I can still see it going.
No, you weren't at that age. No, let's start. When was your first motorbike? How old were you then?
Oh, well, I was in Montreal and I was 19 or 20.
19 or 20. And what kind of motorbike was it?
It was English.
What
BSA.
BSA, okay.
Yeah.
And did you have, what was your next bike?
Well, later in life I graduated to Harley Davidson.
Oh, okay. And were you getting older then, or what?
Yeah, well, it was on a Harley Davidson that I went to Newfoundland, the far end of Newfoundland.
Okay,
and then back to the Maritimes, and then straight out to British Columbia. And I went up to the Yukon to put my foot in the Yukon.
Okay.
And
was it?
And from then I went down to California.
Okay.
I stayed there a long while, and I moved then over to the Gulf of Mexico. And while on the Gulf of Mexico, a hereditary disease came upon me.
Okay.
It has a very long name, polymyalgia rheumatica.
Okay.
And my grandfather died from it because it affects every muscle in your body. And your heart is simply a muscle.
Yeah. The Harley Davidson you owned at that time, what was it? What model was it?
Oh, it was Heritage.
The Heritage.
In French, Heritage.
Okay. Yeah.
It had a windshield and saddlebags came with it.
Okay.
So the saddlebags looked like they belonged to it.
Yeah. Was it with that motorbike that you had that accident you had there, or
no? I was in Montreal. I was on an English.
That BSA one.
BSA
Okay.
English bike. Yeah.
And what happened there?
Well, I had the green light.
Okay.
And I was on St. Joseph Boulevard, which is a double street. And the taxi, I was traveling west in Montreal, and the taxi was traveling east, but it turned up the northern bound street and cut me off as I was going across.
Okay.
And I lost my leg then and there.
Okay. And you were how old then? Around 20, was it?
I was 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the motorbike you had, Harley Classic Heritage, I presume.
I'm sorry?
Later on in life, after you had the Classic Heritage, did you keep that bike very long, or that one?
Oh, it took a while for me to get back on a motorbike. I traveled many hundreds or thousands of kilometers on a motorcycle thereafter.
Yeah. Did you have more than one Heritage Harley Davidson, or?
Oh yeah, I traded quite often.
Quite often.
Yeah,
okay.
Got a new one.
You don't know how many you had?
No, I can't remember. But you see, it is very difficult to get somebody to go with you because they have their work and they have their families.
Mm-hmm.
And I was totally free to go. So I went to British Columbia, and then I traveled up to the Yukon and stayed there all alone in a tent 3 or 4 nights.
And this was just with the bike, motorbike?
In the Yukon.
Okay,
Yukon Territory.
Okay.
And then back to British Columbia, and then down to California.
Okay.
And then from California, I moved over to the Gulf Coast, on the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, much warmer there.
Pardon?
You could motorbike year round over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And but it was there that a hereditary disease came upon me.
Okay.
It is a very long name, polymyalgia rheumatica.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky I didn't die, because it affects every muscle in your body.
Yeah.
And guess what? Your heart, Frank Sinatra can sing all about the heart, but it's still a muscle.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So I was lucky I did not die.
Yeah, yeah.
And but I'm happy that I did so much riding on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Anyway, my youngest son, Kevin, was in Montreal. He was a policeman there in Montreal. He came down to the Gulf of Mexico and rescued me and took me to Montreal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He brought your bike back with you too, I imagine.
Yeah, but I got back on a motorcycle.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I only sold my recent motorcycle about 3 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. And how old are you now?
Me, oh my soul, I was born January 4, 1932.
Okay.
I think I'm 86, maybe 86, I'm not sure. But I was born in January, you can figure it out,
Okay,
January 4,
okay.
1932.
Yeah, that's many years ago.
Yeah.
And I know,
But
not that long ago, I remember you were going to Montreal and so on by yourself, up to Montreal to see or was it Quebec you went to?
Yeah.
Quebec, was it?
Oh yeah, I was in
Okay.
Quebec City,
Yeah,
in Montreal.
And just before you stopped riding your motorbike too there, just recently. It wasn't that far of a long time, it wasn't that long ago you did that.
No, it's not that long ago.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And I see you have quite a table here. It's Harley Davidson.
It's I had my store down in Sandy Cove, and as a result of the store down below, I had a huge living room above, and I had this table in the living room, and people would come, want to know where they could get a meal.
Oh, okay.
So I would make an appointment, and I would give them a wonderful meal in my living room on that table.
Okay, yeah.
Originally it was glass. This is plexiglass.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a horse carriage.
And you made the table yourself?
Yeah, I designed it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
That piece of steel down there weighs 40 pounds.
And you recently you had a dog there too, which had quite an interesting name. Your dog?
Yeah, Harley.
Harley, yeah.
He went everywhere on my bike. He liked to be on the motorcycle.
Yeah, it was just a small dog, and
I put him in the saddlebag.
yeah.
But he was fastened in there, so he couldn't jump out.
Yeah. Yeah. And what other places did you go around Canada? Any other places?
Well, as I said, to go across Canada, I went to Newfoundland and went to the far shore.
Yeah.
Stayed there 2 or 3 nights on the far eastern point of Newfoundland.
That's Cape Spear, yeah.
And then when I got over into the Maritimes, New Brunswick, and up to Quebec, and I went to very northern Quebec, way up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
You lived there?
And then across Canada and up to the Yukon.
Okay, yeah.
And I went alone because I couldn't get anybody to go with me. They're busy with their wives and children and work.
Yeah, yeah. And you live by yourself here now?
Yeah, yeah. I'm content.
You're a good cook, are you?
Pardon?
You're a good cook?
Well, I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so. Yeah.
Is there certain highlights that you could like to talk about your motorbiking days?
The highlight would be that trip across Canada.
That was a good one.
To Newfoundland. I stayed in Newfoundland and I was so welcomed over there.
How long were you there in Newfoundland?
Pardon?
How long did you stay in Newfoundland?
Oh, I was there for a good 4 weeks.
4 weeks? Wow, so you got to see quite a bit of
I was made welcome. And while I was there in Gander, they had a motorcycle gathering where they all met from many places in Newfoundland and other parts of Canada. So I was there as a welcome guest.
Sure. Yeah, I guess anything else? What else we could cover? Any other ideas you want to talk about?
No. I just want to say I'm quite proud of how I've handled the loss of my leg on a motorcycle.
Yeah. I know you had to get aboard the motorbike from normally the reverse side that most people would get on, right? Because of the
that's right.
That's right. Yeah. So, but you didn't have any special gear for the bike. It was just straight bike, and not altered or not.
That's correct.
That's right. Yeah. That was just quite neat. Yeah, and yeah, you're older than I am by a few years, but that's the way it goes. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with your years of how many years you drove, but
I was born in January 1932.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to say I did a tremendous amount of kilometers.
Yeah.
Tremendous amount.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna stop the video now, which was and thank you for answering my questions and stuff, and we're going to put you on YouTube.
That's a pleasure.
You'll get to be famous.
It's always been a pleasure to talk with you, Andre.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I
always enjoyed you too.
I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
When I was in Montreal, there was no necessity to learn French.
Okay.
Because where I worked, it was all English. But I went out and studied French, and I'm proud of the fact that I can speak French.
Yeah.
And I, in the last 4 or 5 years, I have taught myself to speak German.
Yeah.
I'm fluent in German.
Yeah, good. Well, your ancestry was German.
My father's.
Yeah. Your ancestry was German. Yeah.
My mother was Scotch. That's where I got that name Fraser from my mother. She was a Fraser, her maiden name.
Okay. Anyhow, okay.